All right, guys, it is Wednesday, July 3rd. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I am headed to Chattanooga, Tennessee to spend a short week with my friends Mason and Karley. They put the Riverside Chattanooga show on every March. Actually, it's always my birthday weekend, and I try to get out there every year to see them for that. Unfortunately, it's usually cold and rainy and winter. So yeah, I'm going out for a short week, do some off-roading, just kind of a weekend away from home. So here in Chattanooga with my buddy Mason and Karley, she's in the back. Been here for a few days now and haven't really vlogged anything. But we've basically been taking it easy and just hanging out with friends and eating food and watching Stranger Things since the new season's on now. But they do a monthly off-road meet here in Chattanooga, and it's a perfect day today. Yeah, how do you say it?
Chattanooga.
They say it with a D, but it's got two T's in it. I don't even pronounce the T's. I say Chattanooga. It's Chattanooga, apparently. How do you say Chattanooga?
Chattanooga.
They say it with a D, so.
Chattanooga.
When in Rome, apparently. Chattanooga. Good weather today. We got a few guys that actually came out from Louisiana and Texas, which is cool. I guess they don't usually make it out here for this meet, but they do it once a month, and gonna try to film, I guess, as much as I can while we're out here. About to hit the trails. Everybody's airing down now. Not the airing down that I'm used to, but this stuff's fun too, so it's gonna be a good day. Yeah, grab that next time. Oh, dude, yeah, this thing will do everything. This is the most technical trail out here.
Yeah.
And it's actually the first time I've even brought my GX down here. I had a Tacoma.
Crush it.
Oh, it's bone stock. I just threw some sliders on it, cut shit out of the way, and that's
That
it.
thing
We're having
the
fun.
only thing with it.
Alright, there's gonna be a drop. You're good. It's coming.
You know what's up? I'm a little worried about.
Down.
I got it turning.
Just ride it out. A little more driver.
Just keep coming, just keep crawling. Spotted. Great.
Yeah.
Did you guys
He went straight. Yeah, you can see his line. See,
See in here.
driver's front right there.
There's a key in here.
Hey, you think you need a spotter?
No.
Exactly.
Need some footage though.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Hard driver.
Good, bro.
Easy.
When in doubt, throw it out.
Don't worry. They're all headed there to Canada. One more. I think there's three more.
It's Sunday, and we're here at Mason's shop tinkering on his W123. He's in the process of bagging it, and today we're going to get the stock suspension out as much as we can. It's really hot today. It's like 100 degrees, and his shop doesn't have AC, and it's toasty. So, and I'm in all black, obviously, and yeah, so basically today we're just gonna try to like get as much of the stock suspension out as possible and get probably the airbags and brackets in. He doesn't have any of the plumbing or wiring in the car yet, but since I'm here and this is a project that he's trying to get started, I'm happy to help. So might vlog a little bit of this. It might not really get a ton of progress, so it might not be that captivating or interesting. We probably won't have it outside on wheels aired out by the end of this, but it's fun to be not home in your home shop, in someone else's shop, tinkering on something that's not yours. What are you doing, Karley?
I'm trying to figure out this door.
So for anyone from the Northeast, this car is basically in showroom condition because these things are infamous for rusting out in all of the right and wrong places. Bottom of the doors, sills, arches, strut towers, the roof, basically everywhere is real solid on this car. Being from the Northeast, I'm pretty envious of okay condition cars down here in the South. Somebody has already put Euro lights in this car. So if you know the W123 chassis, do you have your factory lights? Oh no, this came with these in it, right? Yeah. So the US spec lights have 2 sealed beam individual lights for the high beam and low beams. Or possibly fog light and then low beam and high beam. I don't remember. But either way, the single piece glass are the Euro lights. So in my opinion, they look much better than the US spec lights. This is still the US spec bumper, front and rear. But obviously, in a perfect world, we can find Euro bumpers and make everything look the way Mercedes intended. What was that?
Ideally, I'd like to put Euro bumpers on it, but we'll see how long I own this car.
yeah, seriously.
And then I've got those Euro, which I believe they are state headlights. I may be wrong, but I do know that they are Euro headlights. But it's just like another option.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about those. They're very similar to the USDM headlights, but they're one glass piece instead of 3 different pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think they look. To me, I think they look the best.
Yep.
Those matched up with like clear corners would be really cool. So
Yeah, these guys here.
maybe some better versions of those.
They look fine.
But yeah, for now, yeah.
So these are Universal Airhouse 2 bags. These are the AeroSport bags, which are designed for a coil-over application, basically, so you can put a shock through the bag. I've used these bags, both bags actually, in different cars. This exact setup is actually what I'm using in the Corvair. I'm running the AeroSport bags in the front because that is originally a coil-over setup from the factory, and I'm running the Airhouse 2 bags in the rear. They're a great universal bag. I've used them in a few different cars of mine over the years. What kit is this? Do you remember the name of the kit?
OCD.
OCD?
Yeah, OCD. I'm trying to remember what it stands for, but it's
This kit is, I guess, the OCD kit, and it's, he sourced them from our friends at Bag Riders in Vermont, and so we don't have to fabricate anything. Normally, we'd be making the bag mounts and brackets ourselves, but since Bag Riders had a kit that was prefabbed, basically we just have to get everything put together and installed, which saves a ton of time on fabricating stuff. And somebody else already did all the R&D work to figure out what you needed for spacing and all that. I'll put a few photos up, but some of you may remember my 1960 Mercedes, the Fintail. Similar application, but we basically had to make all the bag brackets ourselves. So once all the stock suspension's out, all this stuff will go pretty quickly. Even if we don't get to it today while I'm here in town, you'll be able to bang this thing out pretty quickly.
Yep. Then add like half a thread in it. So.
Yeah, we're good to pull that off. That's what was hanging us up to get that trailing arm off. Or down far enough so we can get the spring out.
Yeah.
So basically what we're trying to do is the W123 has like this crazy like stop on it on the rear trailing arm, and it keeps you from lowering the trailing arm far enough to get the spring out without compressing it. And we don't have a spring compressor, and we want to get the spring out safely enough so nobody gets killed or hurt. And we've got the sway bar unhooked, we've got the brake line unhooked, we've got the shock out. So basically the only other thing that was hanging this trailing arm up from coming down enough to get the spring out is the axle. And the axle is kind of fighting us a little bit, and we realized that there's a stop in here that was keeping the trailing arm coming down. So we just cut the stop off because we don't really need it, nor does anyone, and it won't unbolt. And we're going to see if the axle staying in will give us enough travel to get the spring out with just like a pry bar. That's next. got one spring. So we stopped to get food. Haven't really gotten too far, but we got one rear spring out on the driver's side, and now we got to pull the axle and a few other things. We don't have a spring compressor, so basically the trailing arm is only going down so far because it's hitting the subframe and won't relieve enough pressure off the spring to just like pull it out. So now that we've got the sway bar unhooked, we've got a bump stop on the trailing arm out, shocks out, brake lines are unhooked. We're getting the axle out so we can actually just pry the spring out. There's still some pressure on it, but we were able to get it out without too much danger or sketchiness. So if you've got a spring compressor, use a spring compressor. We don't have one, so we're doing what we can. We're not professionals.
Unprofessional.
It's funny, I'm like more ambitious to work on other people's cars than my own. It's weird.
I do the 100% the exact same thing.
Because for me, if something gets stuck, I can just like give up and be like, I don't know, man. It's not my car. You figure it out. I'll work on it while the going is smooth. So we've got the rear springs out. Axle's back in. We left the brakes out and the sway bar unattached because we don't know if the sway bar is going to keep us from going as low as we want, as low as he wants. And we're working on the front now. It's like 10 p.m. It's been a hot day, but now it's finally cooled down. So we're going to try to get the front springs out and call it a night. All right, update. Shocks are out. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, this is a little more annoying than I thought it was going to be.
So we got the front shocks out.
Easy parts out.
Now we're going to separate the lower ball joint on the lower control arm with a jack under them, and then lower the jack down, bringing the lower control arm down with the spring to relieve as much tension on the spring as possible because we don't have a spring compressor. So at that point, we'll be able to pry the spring out without a lot of tension behind it. We're not going to have it bagged tonight, but we're going to have the stock suspension out of it, which is what Mason was hoping for. All right, so we've got the lower ball joint separated and the jack under the lower control arm. As you can see, these springs are long. I had a 190 back a while ago, and I was just telling Mason when I lowered the lower control arm down, it was at a full 90 degree, pointed straight down, and the spring was just making a 90-degree bend and still seated in the control arm. So even with the control arm at full droop, we'll still probably have to pry the thing out. Not that bad.
Found it.
So it's about 11:30 p.m. We got the front and rear springs out, shocks out. We got everything done that we wanted to get done tonight. So I fly home tomorrow, and Mason's got some work to do tomorrow elsewhere than here at the shop. So in this vlog of my weekend here in Tennessee, this is basically as far as we're gonna get with the W123. So no grand finale of airing it down on the wheels he's got, unfortunately. But it's been an awesome time to be here anyway and turn some wrenches and work on a car. So it's been a fun weekend. I'm sure we'll get a little bit filmed tomorrow. We're going to be back down this way by his shop tomorrow, and there's a local guy that has a bunch of really cool Mercedes, so we might swing by there. If you follow Mason, Mason Gavin on Instagram, and Riverside Chattanooga on Instagram, they are doing lots of really cool stuff. So Mason and I are down in Georgia right now, and he talked about this guy that he bought some wheels off of that has a lot of Mercedes, and he works on Mercedes. And he described a W100 600, but didn't really know what it was. So we swung by, and this guy has the most incredible shop. He's had numerous W100 600s, Pullmans. It's just an incredible shop, so I got to get a few shots while we're here.
This is 6.9.
Oh my goodness.
They don't get much bigger than this car. Now, he didn't want this like restored. He just wants to make a nice driving car. It was cosmetically restored 20 some years ago by Hatch
Yep.
and Son. They did the paint and interior on it, and it's just kind of making it just clean and nice. And
Wow. Yeah, things look brand new.
yeah. I finally found the right clips for the fuel lines. They were missing completely, but I just looked through some of my parts, and so some of these cars I'll just kind of be personal with. You know what I mean? If I find one that the guy's really passionate about the car, I'll dig into all my clamps and I'll get them the right clamps. I'll get them the right little clips. I mean, you never see this stuff. It gets covered up by air cleaners, but
Yeah.
it's just nice to try to take one car at a time and make them as perfect as possible, and just kind of put your name on it. This is in really nice shape.
Yeah, wow.
Just a big body coupe, and it runs like a dream.
Sweet, I want to come look at it. Never heard of it. So we ended up, you got everything, phone?
You got it all, man. Hey, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for putting me up for a couple days. And
Definitely, man. Thanks for coming down and wanting to hang out with us. So
cool, man. Thank you so much again.
Yeah.
Feel better too. All right, Mason. Thank you. See ya. All right, so I am back in Manchester, New Hampshire. Flight home was already going to be late, but it was delayed. They're working on the plane. So it is about 1:45 in the morning. Been a long day, and I live about an hour from the airport. So walking out to my car now, making the hour drive home. We'll probably be home, around 2 in the morning. That's about it. Had a blast in Tennessee. It was really hot, but it was great getting to see Mason and Karley. So hopefully doing more of these. I've got a few small ones I want to do. I've got some stuff to fix on the Corvair. So I might be doing some small vlogs here pretty soon. Taking some of the cars for drives and fixing some things on them. Kind of a new experience trying to do this and trying to document some of the stuff that I like doing. So I think the next show is going to be Wolfscart. That's coming up here pretty soon. That's in Burlington, Vermont, so that'll be pretty fun. But until then, we'll see you guys soon. So the night isn't over yet. So I get back to my car in the parking lot here at the airport, and my battery is dead. So luckily someone at the lot attendant building has somebody coming over with a jump pack or jumper cables. It's not over yet. I realized when I got back to the car, my fob wasn't working, and then sure enough, dead battery. I was just gone in England for about a week, and this sat here too, no problem. So got to figure out if there was a draw. I don't think I left my lights on. But we got a jump coming, and hopefully that's all that's going on with it. So I'm on the road. The airport has a guy that'll obviously come out and jump start your car, because I'm sure everybody leaves their lights on, which is exactly what I did. Left the house when it was dark and arrived at the airport with the sun out. It's been a long time since I've left the lights on in my car. Yeah, so we're on the road. Now it's an hour drive home. So obviously my jump pack is in the truck or one of my other cars. And I need to buy another one and keep one in every car apparently. But yeah, that's about it. I think that'll wrap it up, unless there's an eventful drive home. So gotta be home around 2 in the morning, and until next time, see you guys.